So, Laurence Fox has found himself entangled with the law. They were around his house. I haven't watched the video right through, but the basic gist, what I get from Alan Dave, is that he put 10 grand in a place where people could end up buying tools to disable ULEZ, right? That's funding criminality. Now, before you all kick off and say ULEZ is bollocks and all the rest of it, I firmly agree with it, and I actually think ULEZ itself is criminal. Actually making people pay to move around a city that they inhabit, I think is wrong, but that's my personal view. However, in my view, there's different, there's criminality, but the way that people view it is different. Take, for instance, somebody went and did something to somebody's daughter, so they went round there and filled the fucker in. That's assault, or GBH, or could be worse, or whatever. But some people could get behind that and say, I totally understand why he did it. Many parts of the law, in my view, are criminal, all right? But the people that make the laws are themselves, many of them, baseless, moralist, degenerate, psychopath, sociopathic, fucking pick your name. And many of these people make laws to keep us well and truly within our place. But these people can also circumvent the law a lot of the time and get around it. However, the average Joe can't go through a speed camera, you get nicked, that's it. Unless you've got an incredibly good reason, like it was an emergency and I was taking somebody to hospital, there's no ambulances, you're fucked. And there's many other cases like that. Now, I'm trying to work out a way that Laurence probably could have gone around that a tad more subtly. And it seems that anybody else who is encouraging people to go out and disable these ULEZ cameras could find themselves on the wrong side of the law. But that in itself doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. When a law is corrupt or unjust, do you follow it? Morally or legally? Now, my morals in many cases take precedence over the law. I don't like the law anyway. I do believe that there's a certain amount of law needed, okay, otherwise we'd live in anarchy. But I do believe that there's far too many laws, and there will be more and more laws. And there's something you should also think about as well. Had he have been part of, say, for instance, BLM, organising or actually paying for people to topple a statue, would he have been arrested? And furthermore, if he'd been arrested, like the idiots that toppled that statue, would he get away with it? It really depends on what side of the moral compass you're on, or what agenda you're pushing as to what you can get away with. I mean, let's be fair. Why have I got an itchy nose? Is the question. These people that dress up as women and go and read stories to kids and wave their todgers around in front of it should be done for more than one criminal act, I would suggest. But no, because they're helping to break down the society that we live in, and that's all part of an agenda, then they get a green card, they get a pass. But people who actually stand up against what is wrong will have the full force of the law, the political police. But bearing in mind, when you look at the Soviet Union back in the day, they had the Stasi, was it? Depending if I think it was in Germany, right? Or they had other versions of the political police that, should you find yourself saying the wrong thing, being in the wrong place, or supporting the wrong cause, or speaking out against the thing, the government, the state, whatever it was, you could find yourself in a hell of a lot of trouble. Now, in Great Britain, we couldn't have envisaged 15 or 20 years ago that saying that something was wrong would land us in stun with the police. Make it 30 years ago, people would have dragged people out of story time and chucked them out on the street, and that would have been okay. There's many other things that we could have done back in the day that were considered normal back then. The police, the law, the system, everything that you're experiencing at the moment that's been put in place by a very corrupt and evil system that wants to ruin our country, ruin Europe, and destroy everything we stand for. And it has to do that for it to move on to the next stage. So people who, like Laurence Fox and many others, like Tommy Robinson, like huge amounts of other people that stood up and said this is wrong will end up getting ruined. Now, Laurence Fox is just one in a number of many other people that have gone before him and said stuff that ended up nailed. But it will get worse, much worse. And what they'll do is they'll just work their way down through the list of people, because there's a huge list that the system has of people that it recognises that stand against the thing, the Matrix, whatever you want to call it, right? I'll be on that list. Many other YouTubers you watch will be on that list. Politicians, activists, doctors, some teachers, some intellectuals, depending on what their political compass or the moral compass is. If you stand for the old system and you speak up, you'll be on a list, by the way. You might think, oh, I've only put out a couple of posts or whatever. Do you not think that that data harvesting that Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, pick your platform, hasn't harvested and put you in a category because you support this or you agreed with that? And this is where we stand right now. Those huge super prisons that are there, who do you think they're there for? I mean, it's not as if our prisons aren't overcrowded at the moment, and these things are functional. So why is it we aren't using them? Well, because they're not made for the average criminal. It's my view now that these people, well, these places will be housing at a later date political prisoners. You look over in Russia back in the day, or I suppose China now, right? There are people in prison for no more than speaking their mind. They were there. There were people that went missing back in Russia, back in the day, or USSR. They weren't the only place, because communism, fascism, they're both pretty shit, right? You can look at places like, I don't know, Argentina back in the day. Not the only place. There was others like it. And people used to get taken away in the evening, middle of the night, early morning raids, whatever it was. They were arrested. Fucking shave on, sunshine. Why don't you just drive across the front of me? Pissed up cunt. Oh, now you're just going to indicate. What a wanker. Right, you've always got to have it about you. Some of these people have been driving halfway through the night and are asleep. Some of us haven't. Some of us have a coffee. We're waiting to cool down so we can actually fucking drink it. But you need to think to yourself, have anything I've posted in the past, because it'll all be on record. Everything you've ever put on the internet, by the way, is still probably there somewhere. And it'll all be pigeonholed, ranked, put into categories, subcategories, whatever you want. So it might even be the case that 10 years ago, you spoke out very virulently about something, and they'll take that up. If they want you, they'll take you. But, as I say, what they're going to do, and I'm not convinced, I'm not totally sold on Laurence Fox, by the way. This all could be, by the way, you have to think about all sides. He could be, like many others, like Farage, an actor playing his part, pretending to be to the right. Don't forget, he's been a lovey, right? Pretending to be right-wing, garnering our interests, our loyalties to him, and him speaking out against this thing, and him having the police round, just sends a warning to you lot. This is what happens when you put a foot wrong. Had you thought about that? Because obviously, people like myself will think of it from all angles. He could be a legit bloke, and he could have the full force of the law on him. He could be playing his part, and they could be going through some well-choreographed theatre for us lot to watch and talk about, while something else is going on in the background. But also a subtle message to anybody out there who's thinking about doing the right thing: don't, because we'll come for you. Either way, regardless of whether he is or whether he is not something more than what we think he is, the message is still the same. If you do the wrong thing, that is, if you do the right thing, but you don't go by the system, you're not a useless sheep, you don't go along with everything they're telling you to do, then we'll come for you. So, might be worth bearing in mind. Anyway, I'm going to go on to work. By the way, I have been taking mud, as I do in this thing, to a farm because they needed to build something. You'd think they'd have enough mud there, wouldn't you? But no. But anyway, and there were lots of young'uns around. I thought they were all foreigners. Turns out they're English. Young girls, young lads, driving all this machinery, happy, pleasant. When you get to speak to them, you get a big smile. It's fucking great. And I didn't think that our young'uns like that kind of thing. Anyway, they're flat out at the moment. So flat out, they've rolled 2 fucking bolt trailers full of maize. But they're back on their wheels and running again because it takes a lot more to damage a trailer like that than you'd imagine. However, they're so busy that where I'm delivering this stuff, they've got this JCB, it's an old one, it's in limbo or whatever. And because it's not what they do, they just buried the fucking thing. And they couldn't take any more stuff. I said, do you want a hand? And he goes, I'll ask. So he asked, he went, if you can get that digger out of that hole there, because it was buried right up to the cab, couldn't see half the arm, you can see the tracks. He said, if you can get that out of there, because it's low on fuel, get it over, track it over and fuel it up, crack on, we'd love to help, we're flat out at the moment, we haven't got the time to do it. So I got it out of there eventually, fuck me, it was buried, right? Got it out of this hole, got it down, fueled it up, and that's what I love about farms. They're not about, have you got a ticket for that? It's like, can you drive it? Yeah, get on. That's what I love. Anyway, jumped in, spent an hour, slung all this heap up, moved it out of the way, civilised everything, and just left the digger on top of this pile so that next time I can back up, tip, and just then throw it up. But it's great. And I'm actually thinking today about asking them, do they want a driver moving, like driving one of their tractors, because they're flat out, and you would not believe how far they're going with these tractor trailers to collect this maize. I think they've got to get in about 2,000 acres. Was it 6,000 acres? I'm not sure. Stupid amount. They're moving thousands of tons. And because it's a farm, it's local to me, and it's doing well, and it's a dairy farm, and they're not pouring the milk away and shit like that, I want to help. And I might even do it for nothing. Offer to drive one of their tractors tomorrow. No, Saturday, if they still need any help, and get mad. Also, it'd be good fun. I love playing with toys. But yeah, so there it is. 2 different things. That's actually starting to lighten up. By the time I finish this video, my coffee might even be ready to drink. So that's nice. It's a mocker, actually. Don't take the piss. So there you are. Anyway, moving on. Don't forget, Telegram. We've started having voice conversations in there. People can post stuff in there, so it's good. And as I say, I don't know how safe the network is, but is there one out there that is safe? Probably not. But it's nice to talk to other people and get their ideas, and also you can get information like what's going over on in Wales at the moment with Felly, what's going on up in London with the ULEZ, where's the demonstrations, what's happening with the latest medical intervention, you get the idea. All of that stuff, that's what I like. So the link should be in the description when I post this. Obviously, I am flat out at the moment. It's kind of fun. 2 hours in the gym, not today, yesterday. Anyway, so some mornings it's 2 hours in the gym, then a 10 or 11 hour day, then come home and try and work out what the kit is, which we're getting there. It's a lot of buttons. And it was like, I was thinking to myself, so, do I want to rest this weekend, like Saturday and Sunday? It was like, man, you rest when you're dead. Get to drive a tractor. So, we'll see. But yeah, life is very busy at the moment, and I have to say, it's better that way, even though I'm tired, than it would be sat at home doing nothing. But at least like, I'm kept mentally active, and I'm speaking to people, and I'm having the crack. And when you speak to these people, some of the people you at least expect to have the same views as yourself have the same views, or maybe even stronger, and you're like, well, fuck me. That's good. Well, at least we'll all be good company when we're all in the nick together. I have no doubt that at some point in the future I'll be locked up for something. Whatever that is, I have no idea. Anyway, there you go. Have yourself a lovely day. If anything else pops up, I'll put a video out about it, right? See you in a bit.